Our last class, we had read an extract from the eminent personality, our ex-president APJ Abdul Kalam. And it talks about his childhood. Everybody's childhood, it is a sweet memory for everybody. Whatsoever is the personality. So when I say whatsoever is the personality, he may be great personality in political or in economical, in financial or in any social welfare, whatsoever, whatever the field is, he has his own sweet childhood. That is what we have read yesterday. Because that is something which a person keeps at his heart. Now, through that, what we have learnt is, that is a great thing, what we learnt through his childhood is, there were days when people of India, they have forgotten their communal barriers and they never had communal barriers and never allowed others to spread that communal disputes. That's what we have learned. Now, there is a poem, very beautiful of course, but what does it teach us? The title itself is A Plea for India. You can see here, a plea for India. What is the meaning of plea? You add SE to it. Please. That means we are requesting something. Plea is a request, an application, right? A prayer. If it is to God, it is a prayer. If it is to some person, plea, that is we are asking certain thing, we are requesting certain thing. So a plea for India. Don't we have our India? Are we not proud about it? Yeah, of course we are proud about it. But what more we need for India? And what made the poet to put the title A Plea for India? Let us see to it. Here, we Indians are proud to be a strong nation. We are very strong. When it comes to the nationality, we very proudly say, I am an Indian. Right? So, our roots, we declare, cannot be shaken. Wherever you go, you may be a green card holder in USA, but even then your origin is India. And there is a senator elected to your USA, and it is said Indian origin man. The origin cannot be shaken. It is that. Wherever you go, you may go to Africa, you may go to Australia, you may go to London, you may go and stay permanently over there, but your origin is India. So that is what our roots, we declare, cannot be shaken. Roots, connections, and whatever we enjoyed here, those cannot be forgotten, those cannot be shaken. Then why these fights? You see, here comes the question. That is, why this? Why this title? Here on the third line we got the answer. What is that one? Then why these fights? We fight in the name of what? In the name of nation? No. In the name of caste. In the name of wisdom. In the name of literacy. In the name of language. In the name of custom. In the name of culture. In the name of everything. State or language, whatsoever is, we don't like others. We don't want them here. Why like that? Is he not a human being? Is he not Indian? That way the poet questions, and with only single line, what is it one? Then why these fights, which leave us in poor plight? What are these fights? They leave us in a poor plight, P-L-I-G-H-T, plight. Plight means a great difficulty, painful difficulty through which you have to pass. That is plight. So the fights will always result into a very great poor plight. That means poor difficulty only. You have to come over that, you have to come across that. Which leaves us in poor plight, irrespective of our region. We are all Indians. And the region, it is Bihar. You are a Bihari fellow. You are a Tamilian. You are a Kerala. And you are Maharashtrian. Why this? You are Konkani. Again, you see, there also, there are again narrow barriers. I need not remind you, Rabindranath Tagore, the freedom. What is the freedom? Where a man can live without any fear, without minding for the barriers, domestic walls. He very clearly said, again the very same thing is being put over here. Irrespective of our regions, that is domestic walls, built between two states, built between two languages, built between two religions, built between two castes. You are Andhra, I am Andhra, but caste is there again, and we are building a wall. You be that side and I am this side. Why that? That is the question put over here. Forget the castes, which makes us lose our charm. What do these differences or variations which we bring about do for us? Is they make us lose our charm. We lose it because we don't have any kind of happiness and no satisfaction, no contentment, nothing. And simply what we feel is to hate him is my job. Is it that you are coming over here to hate others or love others? Just think. Love is religion and hatred, we cannot put any distinguishable thing to it. Hate is hatred, that's all. It doesn't have anything. But love, it is religion, God, next to God. So that way we have to see here and forget the caste which makes us lose our charm. Let's ignore the selfish call of each region. Selfish call. And human being, he is, I think, somewhat one upon some 10 crores or 10 billions. He is that existence. If you take all the creatures of the universe, his existence is 0.00000000 and something, 1. That is his existence. But he wants to become a big with his selfish motives, selfish nature. And with that, what he is doing, he is bringing all these kind of differences. What for? To establish his selfish motives. If not, he is a man and I am a man. In some picture I have seen, that protagonist, he just chops off his finger and chops off other Muslim's finger and he shows, he mixes up both the bloods and asks, where is the difference between these two bloods? So blood is blood and human head is head, brain is brain, vision is vision. When everything is common, why should we put these differences? Right? Again, poor and rich. You are rich, okay, you travel in your car. I am poor, okay, I travel in my bus. No, there they wanted a difference. They want to put a finger over there, point out, demonstrate, show. He is a poor man. He knows it, he is a poor man. He is a Muslim. Yes, he knows it, he is a Musliman. And by that, what you are telling them? You belong to so and so caste. Yes, he knows it. This saying, this demonstration, this showing, or this putting them aside, that brings about hatred. Is that the call of the religion? No. That is what he says. Is that the call of the nation? No. Again. So, which makes us lose our charm. Let's ignore the selfish call of each region. Let us forget, because that is selfish. That brings about only disputes. So let us forget about it. If we forget that, what will happen? Everywhere charm is there, everywhere happiness is there, everywhere, wherever we go, we can spread wit, comedy and laughter. So, and listen for once to the call of the nation. Now you are heeding, you are hearing, you are just responding to the call of the regions. That is the selfish one. Leave it aside and hear the call that the religion, that the nation calls you for. Then That is the call of unity, and that is the call of satisfaction, and that is the call of contentment. That way we have to treat. And so here he says, a plea for India. Here only we see that kind of differences and that kind of unhappiness here only we can see. Those kind of fights we can see here only. And so he said, a call, a plea for India. Why do we spend our time bickering when so many tasks need finishing? We are bickering, we are thinking, we are hesitating. Bickering means the light which is about to be extinguished, then it will be burning bit higher and lower, and lastly it will, that is in Hindi we call as a timitimati. So that is, we are bickering. Shall we do it or shan't we do it? That means in a doldrums, whether to do or not to do or not to do. How long this do and not to do? You have to take a decision. Yes, we have to do it. It may go wrong. Let it go wrong. Unless you do it, how can you say whether it is going wrong or right? Do it. Don't bicker, because there are much to finish it. There are much to embrace. There are many people to get together and go forward. Bickering is not a good mentality at all. That is, do or not to do. Doubtful. Doldrums. What is this way of doldrums? Are you in a swing to go here and here like this? No, you are stable. You have to do it. It is you have to do it, not that somebody will be doing your job. Right? So don't bicker, finish it. Don't we have better things to do than indulge in creating problems anew? People that take happiness, or rather I can say they take pride in creating new problems. Creating new problems, they always take the happiness in it. Why? They think, I make this problem, there are certain people, they have to make the solution to it. No. If at all you are creating a problem, you should have the solution to it. And if you don't have solution, why are you creating problems anew? As it is, our country has many problems. And we have to serve the problems, we have to solve the problems, and we have to get away from the problems. That is the thing. Not that now and then you are putting your finger and you are putting some more problems in you. Why? Right? Try to use your brain to solve the existing problems, but don't use your brain, create new ones. Right? So then, don't we have better things to do than indulge in creating problems anew? We have many things to do. At least new thing you cannot do, then solve the existing problem. But don't use the same intelligence to bring about a new problem. Then, is all this violence needed, with the people being cheated? Who will return this only son whom she loves a ton? Now you see, our mother country is attached to us. How does she, what we call as respect you, treat you? It respects you, it treats you as if you are a ton of gold. That way she treats you. But when it is treating us such, what are we giving to our country? Problems? That is a big question over here, the poet put. See, is all this violence needed? Is it needed, violence? Every day when you come out of your house, and there is no guarantee whether you are returning back home without looking a pool of blood somewhere. You are to, whether it is an accident or whether it is something somewhere two people have fought and one has stabbed the other and there is pool of blood. Every day, day in and day out, we are seeing it. And even our kids now talking, what is that you know? Champesta. You see, this talk we have never put to our children, but the children picked up that word from somewhere, we do not know. Chita kottesta, champesta, dishum. Is this the gesture we are teaching to our children? Why? From where they are picking up? The violence which they are seeing in the pictures, they are coming with that. Is that violence necessary? We enjoy, of course, if a hero just puts a fistful of a fight and the brick wall is collapsed, or at least 5 to 6 people will be in the air. This we enjoy it. That should be up to that enjoyment alone. Even I don't recommend that. But if at all you have to enjoy. But don't try to practice it here. Right? That kid puts his hands like this and tries to put like this. From where is he learning? Are we teaching the mother and father? No. Is the teacher teaching you? No. Then from where are you getting it? That is it. Violence. Is the violence necessary? Is it so needed? It is not needed. And then with the people being cheated. Now every day if you open the paper we are seeing. In the name of the new jobs, the people are being cheated. I will give you a job, bring me 50,000, bring me 80,000, bring me 70,000. And there are people to be cheated, and so the cheaters are there and they are cheating. Right? They are cheating. It is not their fault. You are being cheated. You are ready. You are open up yourself. Yes, please come and cheat me. Don't you have brains? And after getting cheated, you are just putting inside you enmity. Knowledge is not there. You are not thinking twice before giving it. Then you are putting enmity. And that enmity turns to again violence. He cheated me for 70,000 and let me stab him. You see the thing. Why this? Is it necessary? Right? That is the question here the poet puts. Who will return this only son whom she loves a ton? Here she has only one son, maybe a mother, maybe a family. It has only one son. Being cheated, he goes and he kills that fellow. And the law comes over there and the law carries away this son. If the law carries away this son, then at what cost the son will be returned to this mother which put a ton of hopes on the son. You see, everything is a question. That means we are not finding the answers. Just simply we are creating more and more and more questions into our life. Who will bring back his brother, whose ashes he is still to gather? Where has all the love gone, which resided in the hearts of all? There is no reason to be proud and be on high cloud. We have to go a long way. We have to think seriously, else we end up miserably. See, after telling that we are separating ourselves from each other, which is not needed. Then the poet questions, where is the pride? Why are you so proud? How much you are reaching the cloud? That high you are reaching with your pride. What avails that pride to you? What for? Can you call yourself an Indian? No, a criminal, doubtful. Right? That way he questions here. Who? The sons we cannot bring back again. Whom the mother likes a ton, we cannot bring it. A brother, if he is lost, he is burnt. Right? The ashes, this brother still to gather. Can we bring back them? Lost is lost, cannot be made good. So now, where has all the love gone? Now, our India in the past, in ancient time, it was known for its love and affection. Now we are also ruling, we are also living, we are also doing many things. But are we doing it with affection, with love? No, we are not doing it with the love and affection. That is what the poet says here. And where has all the love gone, which resided in the hearts of all, which resided in the past? In the past, it was there in the hut. If at all a small kid we are seeing over there, right, not finding its mother and father and weeping over there, it is very sure one of the mother had taken that kid home and treated it. When that mother and father returned, and with a very affection, the kid was returned. Now is it there? Somebody, some boy, some girl, why should I take it? The father and mother doesn't have any care. That way we blame the mother and father, but we are not seeing about the situation over there. And there your hatred taking over in your love, or your timelessness. Where is the time with me to take care of that? I am to run to my office. I am to run to this thing. That way we are running away from the responsibility. We are running away from the love and affection. Right? Because time is such. So here is the question, where has all the love gone? Which resided in our hearts all. In every heart it was there. It was there. There is no reason to be proud. And because that love is not there, there is no reason at all for you to feel that you are an Indian. If you are an Indian, you should have the love within you, affection within you. Right? That is not there. So here the poet says, there is no reason for you to be proud of your nationality. And be on high clouds. When you are very proud, you will be in high clouds. That is also not necessary. You are not doing things correctly or in a proper manner. You are not doing it. You are selfish. We have to go a long way to feel proud. We are to go a long way. We are to acquire certain things. We are to take some things. We are to adapt some things. Then only we can call ourselves as human beings. Then only we can call ourselves Indians. Then only we can or we have the authority to feel proud. It is a very long way. We have to make a practice of it. We have to run and we have to reach that goal. We have to think seriously, else we end up miserably. Now it is a time. We have to think about very seriously. Stop. Where are you running? For running there is ample of time, but stop a while. Think about it. What harm you are doing in your run. You are thinking that you are not harmed, but this running behavior itself, it is harming many thousands and thousands of people. Stop. Think. Mend your ways. Then it is the right time to do all these things. Then you can call yourselves as an Indian national. See how beautiful poem it is. Then let our minds throw out the rot. Our mind, why we were doing such? Our mind is filled with rot. Rot means garbage. Garbage is okay. Garbage is something, dry up is there, it will not be stinking. Rot is something which stinks. It is filled here, right? And let us wash it, clean it up. Let us make our brain hygiene, right? And devote our time to pious thoughts. Devote, put together in wholehearted manner is devotion. So let us put our mind, the space within the mind, in a very devotional manner. What for? To think good things, good deeds, right? Good results and good solutions, not problems, solutions. That way we have to think about. Let us control the riots. Riots are there in this old city, if at all, you see, for over a period of 10 months or 11 months or over a period of 2 years, there has to be something. Their flag, regional flag or a religious flag has been torn. Then a particular people raise what? Raise swords. Very recently we heard about it. There will be riots, there will be bloodshed, there will be killings, and there will be arrests, there will be cases. What avails this riots? So let us clear them, let us control the riots, which leave us with no choice. There is no choice. We have to take up our sword. There is no other go. He goes with a sword and I go with a knife. I'll have to go. I'll have to follow him. So there is no choice. If at all roids are there, we cannot have our sweet will and pleasure. No. Then we are to follow it. That tendency we have to stop. Let us control the roids which leave us with no choice but to hang our heads in shame. There is no choice. Then what is to be done? When everything is over, when we are looking after, am I the reason for this disaster? When you question yourself, then you are finding something that is only you are ashamed, you are feeling shame. There is no other go. You have to feel shame alone, no pride at all. Even this much you will feel, am I the reason for this? Did I cause this? That way you feel, and there will be no other go, but you will be feeling ashamed. And say we have miserably failed. As a human being, I have failed. Humanity is what? What is the meaning of humanity? Humanity is nothing but to give respect, to show affection, and to give some equal platform to everything, every living thing. That is called humanity. Leave about the every other living thing. You are stabbing your own brother there. And so, can you call yourself a human being? That you have to question yourself. Which leaves us with no choice but to hang our heads in shame and say we have miserably failed as a human being. We have the power to win. We have it. So why not end this din? You see, we can come over it. We can win. We can always say, yes, I am a human being. If you can do so, why are you doing this din? Din means a very great noise, a crowd jumping, right? And a riot. That is called a din. Why are you doing this? When you are there, you can make people to hear what you want to say, and when you can control with your voice itself, why this din? Is it so necessary to riot, to war, to kill, and all these things? Is violence necessary over there? Right? So why not end this din? Let us unite. Let us come under one flag. Let us be united. There can be many flags, no doubt. Hold them in your hand, but come under one flag. Let us unite. That means let us have a unique thought of progress. Only one thought. What is that one? Progress. Let us not be misled. There are many other people. They will say, "Arey, you are this thing. Why are you going there?" No, no. Their group is not a good group. Come on, let us form a group here. You should not be misled by this saying. There is no groupism. There is no casteism. There is no classism. You are only one class, that is human being, and only one class, that is Indian. That way we have to think. Let us unite and fight against those who incite. Those who incite you, instigate you. Those who, that means badly inspire you, instigate you. Arey, cheira, kotera, tosai, podchai. This is instigation. This is called inciting you. And let us fight against them. Those who are just imbibing wrong thought process within you. Our war should be against those people. Those who are bringing up these differences between this complete whole India. Against them we have to war. We have to wage a war. We have to fight with them. Not with those people who are preaching peace over there. So one day you have to preach peace, non-violence. Right? And fight against those who incite. Let us not be misled by those who want to see us dead. Why they are inciting us? Can't he go and do it? No, he cannot go and do it. Why? Because he may die. Right? So he is instigating you. Arey, go, put it, stab it. Then Because he said, we are going and stabbing. What is our stand over there? Can I stab and stand over there? No, I'll have to run away. Run away from what? From the clutches of law. How far? How long can you escape from the clutches of law? You cannot. So, anyway, if at all there is something, bad consequences, you are the victim there. Because he incited, you cannot say he said and so I did it. Right? That fellow, he is very verbose. He can speak many things. What simply he says is, I don't know. Who is he? I don't know, I have never seen. Why I should incite him? That way escaped. But you are there with the knife in your hand. Think that. You have colored your hands, palms with the blood. You see, think that. You should not be an instrument on the other's hands. That is what you are doing, and so these quarrels are arising. Though it is only one line, he has said this much. By those who want to see you dead, they want that you should die. And so they are instigating you, inciting you, they are sending you. We are a strong, united nation. This strong. That way, all the five fingers, they are put together, the fist is very strong. We are a strong nation. All we need is a bit of dedication. What is necessary is a bit of dedication. If this finger says, I don't go with this finger, and if this says, it won't go with this, can a fist form? No. Each and every finger should dedicate itself to form the fist. Then only we can stand together and we can fight together against all odds and all cruelty and all fighting, all riots, all differences and all problems we can fight together. Then we can be proud of our nationality. That is, we are the Indians. That way we can say. 1971 or earlier to that, we had a war with China, and they thought we cannot do anything because they themselves are fighting within each other and we can occupy a good amount of country. That way they started invading towards us. But we have given a befitted answer then. Why? We stood together and proudly called ourselves, yes, we are Indians. Yes, we are Indians. That way we have shown them. And such, till date, the neighboring countries are aware of our uniqueness that we are to continue with for a longer period. Then we can say, yes, I am a proud Indian. So, when we have gone through this poem, we could able to understand, first thing, really it is a plea for India. No, it is a plea for all the Indians to get united, to stand united, and to feel proud because he is an Indian. It is a call for the Indians. And now, the second thing, if you see the words, very simple words, the poet has used very simple and common, the words day in and day out you must be hearing. Those words only have been used, but they have been used to bring about a very great meaning in it. So there, the poet has successfully put his thoughts in rhyme and in a very interesting manner. Rhyming, if we say, we are having fights and flight, right? And then again we have region, nation, right? And finishing, many things are there as a rhyming over here. Brother and gather, right? Seriously and miserably. Likewise, rhyming also it has been taken care of. So it is, we can say it is a very successful poem, and also it is a patriotic poem even. Whosoever country is, it is not only for India only. Whatsoever is the country, whosoever is the countryman, the poem is applicable to them. Why? Within their country, if they are having this kind of differences, this poem stands good for them to arise them, to awake them to stand together.